All right, let's begin. So we were working on Mr. Robot, and we were working on cracking that password. Okay, so before that, I'll need to go to TryHackMe and get that machine up and running. So we're doing this. So subscribers, huh? Did they change something recently? Check. Because I was able to access it just fine yesterday. Are you guys able to access this? Can you try once? Okay, so I can access it. I don't know. That must have been an issue and some kind of error, I think. So it is accessible. Should be accessible for you as well. And I'm going to deploy it. Okay, so yesterday we were doing the password cracking, and I had asked you whether you could think of a way to reduce the time it would take for the tool to go through the entire list. So, were you able to think of something there? Hello, am I audible? Hello. Yes. Okay. So, Fawaz, were you able to think of something that we could do to, shorten the time it took us to crack the password?
No, sir.
Okay, no worries. I will go through that.
Okay.
See, what we did was we found that word list from the website. We went to robots.txt and we saw that word list and we found that. So,
Yeah.
and I simply downloaded that and I started using it for the password attack.
Okay.
Excuse me. Now, I did not like. Of course, it's a large word list. It is not possible for me to go through the entire word list manually and just uh, entry. Okay, it is not possible for me to go through the entire word list manually. But still, there are tools that can help me, know, remove any duplicate entries from there. I cannot do that manually. Of course, it's a very large list, but I can use some tools to remove duplicate entries. It's not possible for you to go and do that manually. No way. But there are tools that you can use. Because see, I have just downloaded a word list. I don't know, what how many words it has. There might be a lot of duplicates. So I don't know the situation. That's why you should always try and remove the duplicates from the file before you use it. Because see, in a word list, duplicates have no value. If the word did not work as a password, if it is not the correct password, then there is no point in trying it multiple times. But if there are duplicates in the file, then the tool, whatever tool you're using for password cracking, that's not going to check whether a word it's using has already been used or not. So if there are duplicates, it's going to use those values or both times or as many times as it occurs. So it's up to us to ensure that the word list that I'm using does not contain any duplicate entries so that I don't end up wasting any time in trying duplicate entries as passwords. So the way to do that is okay. We've actually gone through Bandit. So can you tell me how I can remove duplicates?
By making unique.
By using the unique command. Okay, that's correct.
Yeah.
And before using the unique command, what else do I need to do?
And see.
Before using unique, what other command do I
Yeah.
need to use? See, you don't use unique directly, right? You use a
Yeah.
command before it. So what is that command? We use that sort command.
Sort. Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise unique is not going to work. So I need to use sort. So what I'm going to do is sort and okay,
Minus u.
no, sort minus u is not needed. That was needed with unique minus u, because
Yeah.
I wanted to look for just one value, and that was the value that had no duplicates. So it occurred only once throughout the entire document. But that's not what I need here. I just need to remove duplicates and just
Okay.
keep all the values at least once within the word list. So sort and actually, okay, it's in the downloads directory. This is this is the name of the file. And now the output of this, I'm going to pipe to this command to unique, and the output for unique, I'm going to store it in a file called f sorted. So I'll run this. Okay, now let's open the f sorted file. So this is the file. Now in this file, all the entries are sorted and there are no duplicates. Because all the entries are sorted. You can say it starts from 0 and then it goes on 1, 2. So, you know, first you'll have all the numeric names and then the other words, okay, starting from A. All right, so now this file does not have any duplicates. It does not consider, like case. So, because when you're looking for a password, passwords are always case sensitive. So even though we have like anonymous and
Yeah.
anonymous twice, so that is, we'll just let that be. We don't need to remove, know, we don't need to consider case insensitivity. We'll let the case word list be case sensitive because that is important for passwords. I'll come out of this now.
Okay, sir.
Now let me show you the difference in the size of these two files. Okay, word count, number of words for the fsociety.dic. Just see. So number of words is 858,000. Okay, more than that. And now look at the words in this 11,000. That's it. So you see, there's more than a 90% decrease in the size of the file just because I removed duplicates. I did nothing else. I just removed the duplicates. So now this is a considerable decrease. Okay, this is a very significant decrease. And now you'll see that if I try to crack the password, see what results I get and how fast I get those results. So WP scan is what we used. URL would be, let me just copy this, HTTP, and the username we found was Elliot, and the password was actually not the password. The password file is downloads if sorted now. Okay, so instead of the original one, I'm providing the uh, file which has no duplicates. So of course,
If we
first
are
is
giving path, we have to give my small letter P, no?
no, it's capital P. If you look at the
Capital
syntax,
itself.
yeah, if you look at the syntax, see, uh, if I come to the command, sorry, not the command, the help menu for this, I'll see that there
Yes.
is capital U and capital P. Okay, just give me a minute, I'll show you that. So WP scan. So for passwords, you need to provide capital P followed by path. If you want to write the entire word double hyphen passwords, then that's all in lowercase. But it's better to just write this single character. So first it has done the scan as usual. Now it's doing the password attack. And look at the estimated time. It's just 1 minute 27 seconds. And definitely it will be able to crack this password soon. Okay. Estimated time increased by a little, but still. Okay, already we have the answer now. It has cracked the password. So the total time that was taken was just a little over 2 minutes, as whereas yesterday the estimated time that it would take was more than 6 hours. It was like, yeah, it was actually more than 7 hours. Yeah. So you see the difference that removing the duplicates has made here. So keep in mind whenever you get a word list, it's always better to do this kind of thing because you don't know whether the creator of the word list has accounted for duplicates or not. So this is something to keep in mind. So now after we have removed these duplicates, we have the password and it is telling you that a valid combination has been found. Username Elliot,
Yeah.
password is ER280652. That's actually they've taken the employee ID of the this Elliot from the TV show and they've kept that as the password. So this is the password for the WordPress login that we saw yesterday. I can simply go there and I'll be able to log in. So this is the main page that you see, and I'll just go to the login portion. Elliot, So it is logging us in, and you can see we are logged in as this Elliot Anderson user. Now, if we come to the users portion or users, and I can see that okay, there are a couple of users here, and we have logged in as Elliot, and Elliot has the administrator role. Okay, so that means again I have complete control for this over this website, because as an administrator, of course, you can do whatever you want. So now this the next step will be similar to what we've done previously. So I'll go to this appearance and editor, and I'll just edit something. And I'll edit a template. So now in this case, I don't have the option of editing the template for a single post because there are zero posts on this blog. We've seen that yesterday. There is no content. It's an empty blog. So I'll just edit the 404 template, error page template. Okay, now again this is all in PHP. So I'll go back to the PHP reverse shell code that I had. So we come here and we copy this code. Make changes to the IP and the port. Now I'm going now. Be careful that when you use this IP, when you change the IP here, this needs to be the IP. This needs to be your IP on the Try Hack Me network. Okay, not on the other IP that you have for your VirtualBox connection. Port can be anything you want. Let's say 5556.
IP should be the Kali IP.
IP should be your Kali IP that you get when you connect to this Try Hack Me network.
Oh,
See
okay.
this IP. This is my IP on Try Hack Me network. So this is the IP you need to use because you are accessing this machine, Mr. Robot, because you are currently connected to this Try Hack Me network through. I told you about that sudo OpenVPN. That whole process I also explained in this room connecting to their network. So you run that file and you connect to the network. The whole purpose of that is so that you will be able to interact with the machines on that network. So in order to get those machines to interact with you, you need to give them your IP on that network. The other IP
Okay.
that you have, that is not going to work here.
Okay.
Okay, that machine cannot access that IP, that interface. It can only access your system through this IP. So once you make these changes, update the file. If there's any questions, then please feel free to ask if there's any confusion.
No, that's clear. Only
Okay,
about
okay.
that. So we done early now.
Yeah,
Just
this is the
PHP.
same step. Yeah, the reverse shell. This is the
Okay.
same step that we had done for the previous machine. So this is the similar step.
Okay.
Now, after I've done this, I've saved the changes already. And be careful to keep in mind what template you are using. Okay, what template you are changing.
Yeah.
So this is the 404 template. So 404 means when you get the error 404. Also, in order to catch that incoming connection, I'll have to open a listener using Netcat on the port that I specified, which was 5556. And okay, so this was the blog, this /0, and just specify any random, set of characters that does not exist. Okay, this is just random. And so if you try to access this, you should get a 404 error. But since I've modified that page, I instead get a connection. I get a reverse shell. So after getting this reverse shell, what is my first step here?
This is normal shell now.
Yes,
You had to upgrade it.
we have to upgrade it. Okay, so what we need to do is, because see, this tells you if you can't access teletype bin sh, so you need to upgrade to bash shell. So python -c import pty. Okay, this is correct. So now you see I get an upgraded shell,
Yeah.
but I'm still not, I'm not root. I'm not even logged in as a user. I'm just logged in as this daemon account. Okay, this is simply a system account or a service account, you could say, and this is not a privileged account or anything. So what I need to do now is I need to perform privilege escalation. So what is your what is the first thing you do when you think about privilege escalation? You try to access the shadow file, see if it is accessible. Okay, it's not accessible. Okay, no worries. We'll try something else. Now sudo -l is not going to help us here. Okay, because password, I don't know the password for this account, and actually system accounts don't even have passwords. So there is no way to do anything with sudo. So three incorrect passwords attempt, of course. I can't have a password for this account. It's just a system account. Okay, sudo -l does not work. This does not work. So what should be the next step? What should I try now? Hmm? What should we do?
For any file that we can access.
Look for actually files in the uh, home directories for the users. Actually,
Right.
okay. So that is what we need to look for here. So where are the user files stored? User files are stored in the home directory.
Yeah,
So let's check that out. ls, and we have just one directory here called robot.
no good.
So let's try going into that. ls. Okay, I see two files here. One is this key2 of 3.txt and the other is password.rawmd5. So first I should try to access this key. Let's see what happens.
Maybe second flag.
Yes, the second flag or the second key you could say
Yeah,
for this machine. But it tells us permission denied.
permission denied.
Let us look at what permissions are there. Okay, so there only the user has read permission and the user is robot. Okay, so let's try this. So we are able to access this file and we have a password hash here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to copy this and I'll just bring it over to my machine. Copy and save this and I'll give it to John the Ripper to crack. Let's see what it's able to do. Okay, now in this case, it's detecting the hash incorrectly. Okay, it's detecting it as an LM hash, but we know that it's a raw MD5 hash, and I can also confirm that. I'm just going to stop this. See, it's confused in this case. It says detected hash type LM, but it's also recognized as MD2 or NT, raw MD4, raw MD5. I can use a tool known as hash. Okay, first let me. I just need to copy this portion. Okay, now I need to use a command hash identifier, and you just simply put a hash value here and it shows you what are the possible hash types for this. So it helps you identify the hash type. So this is MD5 and also the file we copied it from was called password.rawmd5. So this is a raw MD5 hash. Okay, now I'll just exit this. John pass and now I'll say format is equal to raw MD5. So let's see whether it is able to crack based on its own rule based system or we'll have to give it something else. Let's see. Okay, so it does not look like it's going to do anything here with the rule based cracking, so I'll just go ahead and stop this. Now I'll give it a word list. So we'll try dictionary based cracking now. One option I have is to give this raw cube, or it's a very popular word list or a very popular dictionary file. There was a website a few years ago called Rocklists. Sorry, not Rocklist, RockU, and there was a data breach. So all the passwords for the users there were leaked. So this word list was created from those passwords, and the name of the word list is RockU. So this comes by default with your Kali or your ParrotOS installations, and this is what we're going to try and use here to crack this password. So okay, let's see. And when I gave this word list, it immediately cracked the password. You can say show, and it's going to show me the password. So robot, and the password is this A to Z. So now I'll come over here. I'll switch user to robot. This is a password, and I've logged into the robot user account now. So I can now access this file. I should be able to access this file now. So cat key2 of 3.txt, and this is our second flag or our second key. So now let's see what else we can do to get to root now. Sudo -l, we have the password. Okay. We have the password here. So it tells us sorry, user robot may not run sudo on Linux. Okay, so sudo is not usable by this account. So that option is out of the question. Okay, so on a system, when we try to perform privilege escalation, we don't just have one technique or just one approach. There are multiple things we can look for. Okay, so like the first thing we do is we try to look for this sudo permission. If you don't have that here, no worries. We'll see what else we can do. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a concept of a certain kind of files. Okay, actually you already know about it. Yeah, you've already gone through Bandit, right? So you know setuid files, right? You're already familiar with setuid files. You've seen them in that Bandit that we covered.
Yeah.
So on a system that you are trying to perform privilege escalation on, you can try to look for setuid files. So if you find setuid files, what happens is that maybe if you find a file that is owned by a user with higher privileges than you, let's say, in our case, the user with higher privileges would be root.
Yeah.
So if I find a file that is owned by root and I'm able to do something with that file, I'm able to, let's say, open a shell with that file. And since it is running with root permission, I'll be able to get a shell as root. So let's see, let's try what happens. So I can look for setuid files here. And can you tell me how, can you think of a way to look for those files? Like what command can we use?
No, no, sir.
You've already seen this command actually. It's not a new command. You've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hmm? We'll use the find command. Okay, we've used the
Yeah.
find command previously. We can use that. So, like I mentioned earlier during Bandit, there are a lot of different options that you can use with the find command. Okay, we just used a few that we needed, and here we need to use a different option for permissions actually. So we'll use a different command, different criteria with find, but the find command is what we're going to use. So let us see what we can do and how we can use it. So find, and what is the first parameter that this command always takes? What is the first parameter that it takes always?
Ready?
Uh, the location where you need to look for. Like if you are
Path.
doing a search, if you're using find, where should the system go and look for the files? Where should this command go and look for those files? So uh, we need to look at the entire system. Okay, I don't know where the set2id file might be located. So I'll just use this forward slash, and now what I need to do is I need to specify the criteria. So this time I'm looking for files with particular permissions, hyphen perm. And for a setuid file, you've seen that in the user permissions, there is an S instead of X there. So the way to write this in case U is equal to S and U is equal to S. What else? Also need to
For path,
specify the
the single forward slash is enough.
path. Yeah, for path this is enough because I need to specify the entire system,
That's
right? I'm
yeah.
looking
So we are
at,
giving root.
yeah, type F. I need it to be a regular file, and I can also say user root because no, if I'm trying to perform privilege escalation, trying to get to root, then I'll look for setuid files belonging to root. So that's what. So what I'm going to do is I'm now also going to add this to redirect it to dev null. So redirecting all the errors to the null device. And okay, now let's run this search. Okay, so the command has finished executing, we have the results, and these are all the files which fulfill the criteria that we have specified, meaning these all of these files are setuid. Also, they are owned by root. So what we do now is we take a look at what files are out of the ordinary. Okay, what files I might be able to use for privilege escalation. So can you suggest any of the files here? Can you look at these files and tell me what might be usable for?
Nmap.
Yes, you're right, and map, because all the others are system files. Okay,
Yeah.
all the others are system files. You cannot use them for any kind of privilege escalation here. But nmap is not a system file and it should not be setuid. So let's check what is up with that. Let's try just running nmap. But how do we use nmap, right? Nmap is it's used for port scanning. It's not really used to open any kind of shell or anything. All we use nmap for is port scanning. That is the main purpose
Yeah.
for nmap. Okay, so let's just try running nmap and we'll see. So with nmap, this is, see, this version is 3.81. It's a little old. If I come to my own system and run nmap, nmap hyphen version, I have nmap version 7.91 on my system. So 3.81 I would say is definitely old. And also this help menu is very short. If I see the menu that I get on my system, you can see it's quite a large menu, large list. Also, there is one option here, this interactive option. So it allows me to go into interactive mode, which is not in earlier editions. Sorry, which is not in the later editions of Nmap. Now, okay, I already know how to proceed here, so I can just do this. But if you are unsure of what to do, just see, you've seen the version, and after you see the version, just come to Google, say Nmap, and the version is 3.81, and just say Privesk, Nmap 3.81 Privesk for privilege escalation, and just see what can be done here. So there are multiple links about this. Let's this GTFO bins is actually a good one. It's a good resource. So for Nmap, it tells you what can be done in different cases. Now it says the interactive mode available on versions 2.02 to 5.21 can be used to execute shell commands. So you go to the interactive mode and you enter a shell. So let's see, let's try that. So I say Nmap, use the interactive option, and I can press H for help. So there's this line that says after an exclamation mark, I can use any command. So I can run a shell command within Nmap. Now Nmap itself is running with root privileges because it's a setuid file here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'll go to I'll see what is given here. So it's telling me to run exclamation mark sh. So that is going to give us a shell. Let's try that out. Okay, so let's see whether we have shell as root or not. Who am I? Okay, so root. I have a shell as root now. So I can cd into root directory and get k3 of 3.txt. So now I have the third and final flag of this system as well. So we have now finished solving this Mr. Robot. Do you have any questions?
This nmap minus minus interactive privilege escalation.
No, that is simply interactive mode. That is not.
Okay.
We are able to perform privilege escalation because nmap is the nmap executable is a setuid file here, so it's running with root privileges.
Okay. Okay.
That is why we're able to perform this. And the interactive mode actually, if there
Hmm.
is such a kind of situation, then interactive mode can be performed to used to perform privilege escalation just like we have done here.
So can you just scroll
Scroll. Okay,
up, and the where we find nmap.
we found nmap here.
Yeah. If there is no nmap, then what we use other.
If there is no nmap, then you need to look at other files. If let's say within this list, nmap is the only file that uh, I know can be
Okay.
used for privilege escalation. The others are system files. Then you don't look for setuid files. You look for something else. There are other techniques as well.
Okay.
Okay, then you don't rely like setuid file is not the only option for privilege escalation. Right? That's not the only possible way to get privilege escalation.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. So now I'll.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we'll start a new one in the next session.
Okay, sir.
And okay. So we'll do that then.